Hello and welcome to lesson 3-2. Today we're going to be multiplying 3-digit numbers by 2-digit numbers. So our question says, a local charity collected 163 cans of food every day for 14 days. How many cans did they collect in the first 10 days? How many cans did they collect in the remaining 4 days? How many cans did they collect in all? So we can do a couple of different things. The first thing that it asks us is how many they collect in the first 10. So we're going to say they did 163 cans, and because we see this word every day for, or if we ever see the word each, that tells us that it's the same exact number every day, which is repeated addition, which is multiplication. So we're going to multiply that by 10. Now I use the saying many zoos, many animals. So that means to multiply, add a 0. Oops, I already have an M there. Multiply, and then we'll add together. So if you can follow many zoos, many animals, you'll solve it every time. So our first step is to multiply. We're going to ignore this 1 as though it doesn't exist. So we have 0 times 3 is 0. 0 times 6 is 0. 0 times 1 is 0. We've multiplied. I'm done with you. I finish this. I add my 0. Because I'm moving to the tens place, I'm not going to have a number in my ones place. So I need to put a 0 in my ones place so I can multiply by tens every time. So 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 1 is 1. We multiplied. Now we're adding. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 3 is 3. 0 plus 6 is 6. 0 plus 1 is 1. So this is how many cans were in the first 10 days. So now we're going to do the same thing, but this time we're going to do for the remaining 4 days. So we have 163 times 4. Well, we don't need the 0, the multiply, and the add. We're just multiplying because we only have one number. So we have 4 times 3 is 12. Carry my 1. 4 times 6 is 24 plus 1 is 25. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 2 is 6. So that's how many in the 4 days. So how many did they collect in all? Well, we can just add those together. So we took that number 14 and we separated it into a 10 and a 4 to make it a little bit easier. Now, what do you notice before we figure out how many in all? What do you notice about this problem right here? Look at this number and look at your answer. What do you notice? You should notice it's the same 163 but a 0 at the end. Remember when we were talking about place value and we said every time we move up a place value, we're multiplying by 10. We said there's 10 ones in a 10, there's 10 tens in 100, there's 10 tenths in a whole. Remember all that now? Well, we multiplied it by a 10. So that means we're moving up one place value. So if this is at 100 and I needed to move up a place value, it becomes 1,000. So keep that in mind when you're multiplying by 10 or 100, you're actually just moving up that place value. All right, so back to our problem. We have 1,630 plus 652 because we are doing in all, and that tells me we are adding. So 2 and 0 is 2, 3 and 5 is 8, 6 and 6 is 12, 1 and 1 is 2. So there we have it all together. All right, let's try a couple more. Now I need lots of space here to try a couple of these, so we're going to use our notebook. So I'm going to do number 1, and that's 236 times 46. I'm going to remind myself of many zoos, many animals, so I can check it off as I go. So my first step is that many, which is multiply. So I'm going to do that first. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 3 is 18 plus 3, 21. 6 times 2 is 12 plus 2 is 14. I did my multiplying. I'm done with my 6. I'm done with this 3, and I'm done with this 2. I've used it. I cannot use any of that again. Now my z. What does my z stand for? A 0. Good. I need to add a 0 in my ones place because I'm no longer working with ones. I'm working with tens, so I have to start in my tens place. So 4 times 6 is 24. 4 times 3 is 12 plus 2 is 14. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1 is 9. So we multiplied. Now we add. 6, 5, 8, and 10. All right, let's try one more. Let's do number... Let's look at number 23. So it says, which is the total number of heartbeats for an hour for a dog and a rabbit? Well, we need to come over to our chart, and this says animal heartbeats per minute, and I'm going for hour. So how many minutes are in an hour? You should have said 60 minutes equals 1 hour. Good. So for each of these things, if it's 100 for 1 minute, then it's 200 for 2 minutes, so on and so forth. So therefore, we can multiply. The word per tells us that we can multiply also. So if we do 100 times 60, because that's our dog, well, this kind of looks like when we were doing tens, but this time we have 100. So think about what might happen to that 60. So if we're multiplying it by 10, it would go up 1 place value. If we did it by another 10, and 10 times 10 is 100, it should go up 2 place values. We have 2 zeros, 2 place values. So without even having to do all that work, I know I want my tens place to move over 2 places. So I know I want a 6 and my 0, and then I need 2 zeros at the end. So there I have 6,000. Well, if I know that's for my dog, I know that can't be it. And my rabbit, just for 1 hour, is 212. So B can't be it either. So let's take our 212 and multiply that by 60. Now here's where we get into our mini zoo, mini animal. First we multiply. So we know it's all by 0, so 0, 0, 0. Then we add a 0 in the ones place. Then we're done with that 0. Now we multiply. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 1 is 6 plus 1 is 7. 6 times 2 is 12. Now we add 0, 2, 7, 2, 1. So I have 12,000 and I have 6,000, and I'm doing them together, so I need to add. So I can come over here and do, see, 12,720 plus 6,000 will give me 6, 7, 8, 18,720, and there it is. So my answer is C.